So, assuming I'm rolling, today's show is brought to you by OMRG Motors, the vehicle sourcing specialist. Save thousands on your next car purchase with competitive APR rates as low as 9.8%. OMRG Motors are unrivaled by most main dealers. I repeat, most main dealers cannot match their rates. OMRG Motors has a broad lending panel that covers prime to subprime lenders. All that means is that even if your credit is as poor as, they still just might be able to help you. If your credit score is lower than your IQ, luckily, there's not much to think about. Get in touch. They might still be able to help you. If you've had more CCJs than BJs, get in touch. They might still be able to help you. If you thought good credit was buying a £50 top-up on your pay-as-you-go, then you need to get in touch because OMRG Motors just might be able to get you approved for that motor you've always wanted. They're so confident in their rates that if you find a lower APR elsewhere, they'll match the savings and sort you £250 in cash. Use discount code ONELEAGUE to get £100 cash back on your next car purchase. Rate so low, it'll make you say OMFG. Socials are at OMRG Motors. Website, all the w's.omrgmotors.co.uk. Now, let's start the show. I don't want to be judged today.
No, I'm judging you. I don't care.
Oh, you're going to judge you every single time?
Every single time.
But then...
What?
I don't know, like...
One, you was
away
late.
from this always a 10. Yeah, wait, how does me being late come into the judging?
It all comes... It's preparation. So, preparation's everything.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't late, was I?
We'll get on to you in a minute.
Wait. So what am I going to get because of the lateness?
It was 6.
It was a 6, yeah?
Yeah.
Because of the lateness?
Yeah. Part of it, yeah.
It's interesting.
You changed it as well. I noticed you changed it up a bit, but it's still a 6.
No, I've had it the same for a couple of weeks. Are you listening? Oh, is he listening? Are you listening?
Anyways, let's get the show on the road.
10, I thought.
Thank you very much.
Especially under pressure, arriving late.
Thank you,
late
Scopesy.
buddies, you know what I mean? Late buddies.
It all depends how you look at it.
You still handled it.
Thanks, Scopesy. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Episode...
Recognize real.
What we said, episode... What's this?
Oh, it's going to be 13.
13?
It's going to be 13, yeah.
It's an unlucky number.
Unlucky number. Oh,
That's a keeper number, isn't it? That's a keeper. So, we've got Dan Scopes.
Back.
Doing very well at Averley at the moment. Like, it's nice to see. A few players I know over there as well. It's just nice to see that you're all doing well. I've seen you over the season, like, sort of training the same sort of players. So, just nice to see, man. How are you anyways? How's things going?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, a little bit tired, I'd say. I think when you always get that towards the end of the season, don't you, when it comes to these games, and especially step 2, there's a few extra games and we had a few cup runs. So I think I'm ready for a break. I probably could go an extra week if we can get there. That'd be ideal. But yeah, I think everybody gets a bit mentally drained, don't they, at this time of the season, and players and managers, and you work hard at something and puts a lot of pressure on you. So I think we'll probably due that break. But
definitely. How many games you got left?
We've got 2 left. Yeah,
2 left. And this is okay. Let's start from the beginning. The aims are making playoffs. I'm guessing.
Yeah. The original aims were staying in the league and trying to win a game of football.
Surpass that.
Yeah, wow.
That was the first aim. Was I was just hoping to get the first win. That was the challenge because we got wrote off obviously at the start of the season, being a newly promoted team.
Yeah.
Coming up a couple of leagues, and everybody thought that we probably weren't going to win many games of football. So first aim was to try and get some wins under our belts, which we did quite well to start with, and then let's go on. Yeah, we haven't really thought about making playoffs. That's not really been our sort of focus, and we're quite boring in what we do, and we go one game at a time, like most managers will say. But you can't help it when you get close towards the end, and the prize gets bigger, and obviously when the prize gets bigger, the fall gets greater as well. But you know, I think we've just got to try and look after our own business, and we go to Weston-super-Mare away. We've just come back from Truro away, which was at Gloucester, so not as far. But we go to Weston, and I think we've just got to try and handle our own business if we can.
Kel loves a Truro, by the way.
Oh, but I hate
Kel loves a Truro.
I hate Truro.
He just hates the distance.
How bad was that?
Yeah, well, we didn't have to go because Truro, fortunate enough, or for us, their ground's been a bit of a mess all season. Then they were at Plymouth Parkway. But then they've moved all their games to Gloucester, which is an away game for them as well. It's about 3 hours from Truro to Gloucester. So it was only about 3.5 hours, but the challenge was obviously Gloucester played in the day, so we kicked off at 7:30 in the evening. So it was a Saturday game, but
in the evening,
at lunchtime, and then we kicked off in the evening. So just no routine in it, you know. And players like routine, I like routine.
I love
routine. Just seemed to throw it all out a little bit. So it was tough, and getting in at 2:30 in the morning was challenging.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Fortunate enough, we haven't had a game this week, so we've had a chance to train on Monday and recover and get ready again to go to Weston-super-Mare.
Amazing.
Again, a long one.
All right, so let's rewind a little bit, because usually we like to start off the show with a segment which we call Wikipedia, we ain't believing you. Now, something we found is that when we get managers on, obviously, as you'd imagine, there's not as much information out there on managers as you would have on players. So some of the stuff I have seen, okay, kind of the really simple stuff, is you have managed 2 teams up to now.
Yes.
That's correct. Okay. We found it a bit tricky to find information from a playing background. So I'll clarify that. Was there a playing background?
Yeah, long time ago.
Oh,
so, yeah, I'm the big 5-0 this year. So my playing background was a long time ago, and I retired, or sort of semi-retired, about 34 when I went into management. So I played from 17 till 34 in non-league.
Oh, nice.
I played 449 games for Great Wakering Rovers.
Wow. Great Wakering Rovers.
Yeah,
right.
Who are obviously they had a real good run at the moment, aren't they? In the semi-final of the FA Vars and 1-0 down in the second leg. So chance to get to Wembley, which is magnificent for that football club and all the hard-working people, and a lot of people still there from my days there when I first started. And
do you still go and watch the games then?
I try to. Yeah, I get down there.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not too far from home, so I try and get down there when I can. It's difficult because the schedule that we're on and
of course.
being involved. When I come out for a little bit between Concord and Aveley as a manager, I went back and watched a few games. I've been back there and played as well as a player and as a manager as well. So it's always good and nice to go and see good people. But I was disappointed because I finished on 449, which is
it's not round. It's not round. Yeah, one more game,
so
Gaffer.
I thought they might take me back one day and I could play. But
just play that one last game.
Testimonial.
Get that 2 minutes.
I think if they get to Wembley, then that might be the one that they.
Come back in. Yeah, Scopesy, come back in.
I had a great time there. It was really good. And back when I played back in there, I sound really old, but people never used to travel so much and players were more local. So our team was full of local boys and people from around the area and all at the same sort of age who were having families and getting married and then having kids. And we all sort of grew up together, really. So it was a good few seasons. And I went there and left and then went back after a couple of seasons and then spent sort of 10 seasons there, which is long time in football. And my kids grew up with other people's kids and my family grew with other people's family as well. And it was just a real good team spirit and stuff, and obviously the club done quite well and we got promoted a few divisions.
I was just going to ask that.
Yeah, we did okay and we got moved up and the leagues got sort of separated and become a bit more travelling, and then some of our players couldn't do that, so then a new manager come in and he brought new players in, so it lost that sort of personal effect a little bit and went for a few managers, and then I just felt it was... dropped for a cup game and threw me toys out the pram like you do as a player, as I tell players not to do now. And I decided it was my time was up and I felt like a change, and I left there. I went to Southend Manor for a couple of games and then went to Tilbury, and Tilbury were in the Essex Senior League and on the verge of getting promoted, and I went there for the end of the season, got promoted, and then went up to like the Ryman's North Step 4, stayed there for about half a season, and I just felt that I needed a bit of a change. I sort of had a bit of a knee problem. And
how old are you around this time?
I was around about, how old was I? About 32 probably, 31, 32.
Yeah.
I just felt, I played a couple of games, and as a player, and it'll come to you, Cal, one day when you're playing, and I got further and further back down the pitch, and I become a centre half. And
well, that's what I was going to ask you, actually. I was going to ask you what position you were, and I was going to guess. So you said you became a centre half. So to be honest, that was my first guess. So that would have been wrong.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna say then centre midfielder.
Yeah. At the start, I probably played every position I played as a centre half, really, in the same mould as a centre half. It didn't matter to me where I was on the pitch. The actual way I wanted to play and the way I liked to play was probably quite similar. And as a youth player growing up, I was a speedy left winger and then lost a bit of pace, and Dad was my manager, so he said get back a little bit.
Daddy manager.
Get back there, and he threw me in at left back, and then when I got into senior football, I had a bit of energy, a bit of box to box. I wasn't very technical as a player, but had a lot of heart, a lot of desire, and so I went into centre midfield. And
perfect for non-league.
Yeah, I loved my time in centre midfield, box to box, winning tackles and headers and challenges, and that's what I was all about. And wasn't so good when the ball got on the floor and I was receiving back to goal. That wasn't a bit of me, and it wasn't until later on in my career that I went back to centre half. And without being arrogant, don't mean it that way, I found it easier at centre half. I wish I'd gone back there earlier. I felt much better with a game in front of me.
Sometimes.
I could lead, and I was quite vocal. I was captain of Wakering for sort of 9 out of 10 of them seasons and them games, and I was quite vocal on the pitch, like to make sure people knew I was playing. And
Yeah.
I wish I'd gone back there a little bit
But
earlier.
do you think your experiences like helped you when you went back there? So you might have gone back there too early, if you get what I mean. Do you think like your experiences helped you?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I sort of knew what them people in front of me needed from me because what I hadn't had or I had from other people at centre half. And it just made a difference. And it just felt more comfortable. It felt more natural. And the amount of people that said to me, I said, you're quite a good player, actually. Like when I was in midfield and I was just in the heat of the battle and people didn't probably go to me, oh yeah, you're a good player. But I went back and people said, oh, you're a good player. You could do something here. But by that time, it was probably a bit too late. But yeah, no, I enjoyed that playing centre half, and then obviously went to Tilbury, and I just felt that I needed a bit of a change, and I went over and Concord Rangers to watch a game.
That's where it started.
Yeah, and they were in the, I think it's a Thameside Trophy game, midweek game. There's probably about 15 people watching, and I remember it. And they were playing Halstead at the time. I went and watched. I stood on my own. I didn't really know anyone. I knew a couple of the names or the players, and I watched it. The pitch was a sand pit. There was mud everywhere, sand everywhere, water everywhere. And I looked and I just thought, I've got something about this club. I quite like it. And so the game finished. They won an extra time, and I went round. I spoke to the manager. I knew the coach at the time, Dean, and I said, look, I want to join. Like, you know, I'd like to come and play for you. And they went, oh, okay, like, brilliant. And the coach went, oh, I think your legs are gone. I'm not quite sure. So
all right, said that straight up.
Yeah, that was a bit. And then the manager went, no, you're in. Come in. And I went and I played. You know, that was on the Tuesday. I started on the Saturday and finished the end of that season. And the following season, I become captain and helped out the manager at the time. And it was after that season, we had a good season in the Essex Senior League. It was after that the manager left. He got the sack and he moved on. And then I got bullied into becoming a manager. And that's when my managerial career sort of started. And I tried to do that player-manager thing. And
how did that go?
Tough. Yeah. I was always quite vocal, so and a leader on the pitch. But yeah, the pressure was real tough.
The pressure to perform as a player when you're the manager shouting out the orders and that, it's got an extra pressure, right?
You can't drop your standards, can you? You've got to try and keep them high, and you've got to be the main player and telling people to do stuff. And it was really challenging that first sort of season I did that as player manager. I was fortunate, and I'm not afraid to say it, I inherited, or Danny Cowley and Nicky Cowley come, and Danny Cowley come in as my assistant manager and Nicky come in as our sort of captain on the pitch.
Those are two good. They're too good.
They were really young at the time, a lot younger than me, but Dan had just stopped playing. He'd had a bit of a hamstring problem, so he couldn't play anymore. And they just were brilliant. They come from a PE background, teacher background, and it was good for me at the start because I just went, oh, well, I can play. I can just be the leader on the pitch. And they managed the rest of the stuff. They did the training. They did the coaching.
So I've got a few questions. I've got a few questions
starts.
around that because I'm putting myself in your shoes now. You've just been asked to manage the club, player manager, what have you, and honestly, I reckon some people, maybe their ego wouldn't be too fond of new people coming in, and I don't want to say taking their shine, but you got the Cowleys coming now. You're meant to be manager, player. Was it pitched to you that these guys are going to help out, or was it you that saw that, hold on, actually, there's something in these two, whereby I see something in them that they could help and they could help bring structure to this club? How did it come about?
Yeah, I think you're 100% right, and it did go that way. I remember sitting in my office at work, and Smith, the chairman, phoned me up and said, I've just had a missed call from Danny Cowley and a message saying he wants to come in and can he have a meeting with you and help. And I knew Dan through teams and games and played against him. It was quite funny because at the end of the season before, we'd played Brentwood and they were at Brentwood, and Brentwood went on and won the league, and Dan wasn't playing, but Nicky Cowley was playing, and we both played centre midfield. I was at Concord centre and he was at Brentwood, and we went at each other. We didn't really know each other, and we were kicking lumps out of each other, and he got me right at the end of the game, real high, about knee high. He got me before I got him, and when I had to go off, and first time ever, and I had to get in a crutch and that. And I remember actually at the Concord clubhouse, I'd lost my head a little bit, and I was chasing him around the clubhouse with a crutch, trying to get to him as a thing. So I was looking, thinking, oh, this might not work. So I had a conversation with Dan, and I recognised straight away, and already knew him as a character, that he would be perfect for me. And I actually sort of couldn't wait to get him in. And it was the case of that. I was happy with that. I was comfortable with that, and I think that's one of his strengths. I'm quite comfortable in you can't do it all on your own. You can't.
Yeah, this is it.
Be
Yeah,
that's one. You need support. You need people
massive,
around
man.
you, and I'm comfortable with that. And I was more than happy when he come in. And when he come in, I was even more, excited by what I see from him and I knew at that point that he was going to go on and be a really good non-league manager and then managing the Football League. And I did know that straight away. And he was really good for me. I learnt a lot off him. In that, and I'm not afraid to say that. And we worked quite well. I think we were sort of different people, different characters, probably led their lives in different ways. And it probably helped us a little bit. And I give him a bit of me and he give him a bit of himself in there. And I think just made a good combination.
Yeah, any clashes?
No, not really.
No?
Yeah, we clashed with everybody else. That was we were probably the most hated duo in non-league at that time, especially in that Essex Senior League. And Concord, they'd gone out and said, look, we're going to put a bit of money to this. We want to get promoted, and we had an okay budget. And 3 or 4 other teams then suddenly got an okay budget, and we were the team to beat. Everybody wanted to beat us, and we probably upset a lot of people. We were quite vocal and young, energetic managers on the sideline, and me playing as well, and we probably did anything we could to try and win. And some of it you wouldn't want to look at now and wouldn't do now, but
speak for yourself.
Anything we did, and we upset a lot of people, but we wanted to win and we wanted to get promoted, and that's what we did in the end. But I was pleased. I got injured around about Christmas, so I ended up spending more time on the sideline than I did in terms of playing at the end, so it become a bit more of that partnership then on the sideline. But it was a no-brainer at the end of that season. We become joint managers of Concord Rangers, and then went on for another 4 years after that. So
that's the start of an era, though. By the way, I'm letting you know. That's like the start of it. I don't think I would have even went Concord if that didn't happen. I don't think.
Were they there when you were there?
No. But that was the start of Concord rising, wasn't it? That was the start. Yeah. So.
Concord had good success before me and Danny Cowley, and they'd won the Essex Senior League before, and done really well, and had really well, but they'd never really gone, right, come on, let's have a right go at it. And, Ant Smith, the chairman, started to put a little bit more finance into it and started developing the club and building behind, and he had a real drive and wanted to take it forward, and got myself and Dan involved, and it all sort of worked together, and we worked well as a three. And there was probably clashes between Ant Smith and Dan more than that, and I was a bit pig in the middle, and I was the peacemaker. Dan would want this, and Ant would say no, you can't have that, and I'd be the one in the middle, regulator in the middle, trying to sort it out. And
all right.
We obviously got promoted out the Essex Senior League in our first attempt, and won the cup as well. Had a good FA Vase run that year, quarter-final, and then we went up to the Ryman's North after that. And first season, Ryman's North, we managed to get into the playoffs and lost out to Waltham Abbey in the playoff final. Wow. And then the following season, we got promoted in the playoffs and beat Enfield at home in the playoff final. So it was good. We had some good success at that moment. Obviously got us into the Isthmian Prem, which it is now. I did a couple of seasons there. We struggled in our first season. It was tough, and we learnt a lot. And then obviously the second season we did a bit better, got closer to the playoffs, and that's when I left. I left after that. I just felt it was the right time. I had a young family, young boys that were playing football. I had a business that I needed to take some focus on, and I think I'd focus on myself a little bit. Where I'd rushed out of playing into management. I hadn't really had time to do any coaching. I hadn't really had time to develop myself. So it was the right time to step away, and he wanted to do a bit of coaching, and Glenn Alzapidi was coming on board and sort of took my place, and I just felt it was right, and I was comfortable again in that. I didn't have no issues with that, and I knew me stepping away would help the football club, and they would kick on again, and yes, they did, and obviously got promoted to step 2,
and that's something I'm quite interested in as well, because obviously you hear a lot of players and just people generally talking about it's not full time, it's pretty much part time. You're in a couple of days a week. Is that reflected the same as a manager, or would you? How hands on are you, even when you're not at the training ground, even when you're not doing training, even when you're not at the matches? How involved are you? How much of the time is it taking?
Yeah, it takes all your time, I'd say. Yeah, it's 24/7. It's it's probably 24/7 in the head. You can't get rid of it.
It's constant.
You go to bed thinking about it, and you wake up thinking about it. And I think if you want to be successful and you want to do well, you have to be like that. And I think it'd be harsh on saying to it's managing to players and trying to separate it, because I think players, it's tough on players as well. I think they get, they do think about it. And if a player wants to be successful and wants to carry on developing, what he does, and I say it to our players a lot at Aveley, what you do outside of the contact times with us at the football club is probably just as important.
Yeah,
so if you're not doing your recovery, if you're not doing your work behind, if you're not reviewing your game or looking at watching your game back as well, and so maybe not as intense because they haven't got to worry about 18 other people, they worry about number one, which is important, and that's what you should be doing. So, but it's still important to a player, and they probably live it. And they have a bad game on a Tuesday, they're going to be thinking about that into Thursday, aren't they? They're not just going to go away, or the majority of them don't go away.
No.
A lot of the players I've worked with, I know they really care about what they do, and they want to be successful as well. And I feel if you want to be successful, you have to give everything you got, don't you? And we have a saying at Aveley called "empty the tank," and that's what we try and do every time. And I try and spend every week emptying the tank until we get to the game and try and win a game of football. And I'm fortunate that I've got good people around me, and a good analysis guy who does a lot of work for me, and Scott Wagstaff, and good coaches in Craig Shipman, and I've had good coaches before in Lee Minchell around me.
Surely you have to take a bit of credit in terms of
I was going to say that. Like you like a lot of people come to the club because of you as well. Like this, and a lot of people I know have come to the club because of you, and that's where you kind of have to take responsibility for that. I think, like, you know what I mean, Dodge? Like where it's sort of like reflecting on you, how you are as a person. So I know that a striker left you guys and went and played pro, but he wouldn't get that opportunity if you didn't let him go, sort of thing. And that is in Harry Lodovica. So I spoke to him in the summer, and he was saying, no, he signed for Aveley, and then opportunity to go to Scotland. Now he's playing Scottish Champ, is it? And he's got nothing but great things to say about you. And I know you. I've always sort of known you around, but I've never played under you. But the things that people
tried a few times.
There he goes, isn't it?
Just hasn't made the cut, eh?
Waiting for his price to come down a bit. Still waiting.
His money again.
Nah, he's trying. But nah, people just really speak highly of you, and I've played with a lot of your players, so and everyone just says good things and positive things about you. So that's a credit to you. That's what.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, it's nice to know. And I always say when I leave football, and whether that, I promised my wife I'd retire at 50, but we're now negotiating some extra
a few more years.
Terms. Yeah, a few more years. But I'd like to finish, and people say, "Yeah, what a nice guy," and that's, I think we're all a bit like that, aren't we, at times? And I just try and be myself, and not try and be respectful to people. I think that's in life in general, and just try and look after people. And Harry, as you mentioned, and I chased Harry. He was at Chelmsford, and I know Adam Drew at recruitment there, and I knew that maybe there wasn't a new deal. I felt Harry needed to come and be number one, and I was going to give him that opportunity. So we spent all summer talking about how he was going to come and be my striker and my number one, and eventually we got the deal over the line, and he come in, and I said to him, and I say to all my players, I'm not afraid of you growing and you developing and you moving on. I accept where we are, and I accept part of the food chain. It makes my job a little bit harder at times because I have to replace them when they do go, but I get a buzz out of that as well. I get a buzz of finding a next player that I can help and move forward, and I've always been honest with them to say, come in, I'll try and help you as much as I can. You've got to help yourself, but if I can help you and you kick on and you do better, then I look at my CV and give that a bit of a tick and say, I've helped that player. And I felt I could do that with Harry, but I think he come in for 2 pre-season games, 2 pre-season sessions actually, and then obviously this trial come about, and he phoned me and he said, look, if you don't want me, I've committed to Aveley. He hadn't played a game, he hadn't signed a form or anything, because they don't sign the forms till a little bit later, it works. And he said, and full credit to Harry, he said, if you don't want me to go because I've committed to you, then I'll stay and I won't go. And I said, look, Harry, I'm not going to stop you taking this opportunity, because if that's what you want to do, it's an opportunity for you to go and be a professional footballer, and I wouldn't want to take that away from you and go and do that. And all honesty, I'd have to look around. I owe Aveley the opportunity. I can't wait for you, Harry. So I owe Aveley the chance to have to go and look for someone else, maybe. It could be an issue if you come back, but I'll make it work if you come back, and you'll be part of what we do. Go and do what you can do and go from there. And he did, and he got his deal, and he sent me a lovely message to say, thank you for letting me have this opportunity. And that's probably only played a small part in Harry's life in terms of that bit of time, probably a month from first call contact to signing and then in moving on, but for him to say that. And
But I
it's
think
really nice. And
for him, what it was is you installed belief in him. That's what I think it was. When he's someone I kind of speak to on and off quite every month or so, whatever, and he's got nothing but nice things to say about you. So that's like a credit. And I know other players that have left you, and it's been difficult for you, I'd say, this season, because I think just off the top of my head, I'd say about 3 strikers have left and gone to like sort of full-time clubs. And it's like, how does that feel after? So when they're leaving, is it like, oh, I've got to start again and find another attacker? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I think when I was younger and first started management, it was tougher. You know, you took it personally at times, and it was harder and that. But I think as I've got older, I've sort of accepted, as I said, I accept that people kicking on is a good thing, and people moving sideways or backwards, not always a fan of, and I always think you should try and play the highest level you possibly can. And money's important, and I understand people play for money, and that's right. And someone's offering you a large sum of money to go and play at a certain level, then why wouldn't you take it? If that works for your circumstances and your family, then I fully accept that. I've got no problem. Just own it and be honest with it. And that's the important thing. I just get a buzz out of helping people, I think, and I don't want to sound like, I get everything right, and I do. And I realised early that non-league football is non-league football, and you have to remember where you're at and that. And am I going to help have I got enough contact time to make these players better footballers?
Yeah.
We've had boys come out of pro academies and dropped down, and players been at Arsenal for years and coached Arsenal from youth to 18s, and he's had lots of good coaches. He's had lots of good people that take them on board and give them all the information, and they've got all that in there, and they're probably find themselves at Aveley Football Club because something hasn't quite worked out, and they've been able to get to grips with where they're at, or been a bit unlucky maybe as well. And
fair play.
Place fits or don't fit, and change of management can happen. So these lads come in, and I'm probably not going to make them better footballers, but if I can make them enjoy their football, if I can make them enjoy their environment, if I can give them confidence and belief that they can do well and they can run through brick walls, there is an option to get back to where they want to go, and some are happy where they are, and that is their level, and they have to accept that. And my job is to be honest with them and say that this might be you now, come and let's make the most of it and still be success. And I always grade success in different levels, isn't it? And some people see success as winning leagues, winning cups, that is a form of success, but there's other forms of success. Number of games you play, number of minutes you play, and different bits that you can do, and not every team can win the league. So I look at Aveley this season, and to finish hopefully within that top 10 and maybe a little bit higher this season is probably just as good as me winning the league at step 4 and getting promoted in the playoffs.
There you go.
It's a different. I haven't got a medal for it, and I haven't got a trophy for it, but I look at them
like you said, it exceeds your targets that you had before, so it's more than a win, isn't it? I'll just take him back to so you've left Concord now. Let's go back there. And you said you just felt the time was right because you obviously want to dedicate more time to family and that. What was it that actually made you realise, now, you know what, my time's up here? And what were you thinking about the future moving forward? Because obviously you've kind of got into the Aveley job. So what happened in between those two things, leaving Concord and then signing for Aveley?
I think leaving, when I left, the whole aim was to come back. That was the challenge. I didn't probably put a time scale on it or a period of time. It wasn't just, I'm going to go out for a season then come back. I felt it was to go and develop and learn, and I felt I've missed, as I said earlier, I've missed that opportunity from going straight from playing into management and the pressure of managing and the time it takes, and I needed to go and develop myself a little bit. And I felt if I was going to come back and be a successful coach, that was probably my first sort of thought process, or a successful manager, I needed to be better than what I was. I was doing okay, and I'm not afraid to say it, but Dan and Nick were very, very good, and they sort of carried me a little bit, and I backed them up in my skill set, as you said, was very good with players, and Dan would scream and shout at them, and then I'd have to put my arm around the shoulder and get
good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, and that's how we worked, and it was the way forward. Probably all people always thought I was the bad cop, but I was actually the good cop, and he was the bad cop at the time. But it worked, and we knew our roles and our positions, and to go away and try and develop myself and make more mistakes probably, and I felt I needed to develop as a coach. I didn't feel I knew the game, and I knew how to set a team up, and I knew how to play the game, but I didn't know how the principles and the focus behind it, the magic bit sort of thing, and we'd always had good players.
So what did you do to help yourself develop?
I went and worked for I run my boys' teams. Yeah, I ran 2 boys. Boys are both 19 and 17 now, so I run their teams from 7. I run my eldest boy from under 7s all the way through to under 18.
Oh wow!
My younger boy I run from under 8s to had a really good team there, and we had an under 7s and under 8s, and we had 8 players, and they all got signed to academies.
Oh wow!
Brilliant. So
Oh wow!
I lost that team, which was good in a good way, and so I then run my elder boys team, and I went and worked for a local Three Lions Academy down in Southend, and they did 2 sessions a week on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. It was after work, I'd finish work, get changed in the office, go straight to there and do the coaching, and it was in all weather conditions and all stuff, and these players were different levels of ability. Some boys that needed a little bit more support, and it was open to that. And then there was sort of a bit more, I wouldn't say elite group, but a better group. They were a little bit more advanced than others, and I coached them both. And Wednesdays was probably the boys that needed a bit more support, and then the other group was the elite group on the Tuesday. And I just did lots of sessions, and I made lots of mistakes. I probably did some real bad sessions, real bad coaching, but I felt that I was learning, and I probably used them kids' development to learn myself as well. And I sort of found what I always relate to it, that if you can coach a group of under 12s, under 13s, and let them enjoy the session, and they come off buzzing from the session, then you take that into different to senior players and older players. You take that into them, and they come off buzzing and enjoy it. They're all kids at heart, and anyway, and that's why they play football, because they enjoyed it when they were younger. So I felt that was a good tool for me, and I did that and did it for a long period of time and loved every minute of it. Really good. It was tough trying to obviously work, run a business, run a family, and coach
do the
quite
extras.
a lot. It was good, and I just felt that it was. And then I stayed involved, obviously, watching Concord Rangers. I sort of helped out a little bit more, went behind the scenes a little bit, and supported the club. Played a bit of football as well. Went back, played a bit of veterans football just to get my kick and or kick people more than get that buzz of winning and challenging as well. That was good. And then I just felt that I was getting ready for it, and I got a couple of when I managed at Step 7, coached at local team Lee Ramblers, and they needed a coach, and I said, I played for their vets, so I'll do that. So I did that for a season, and just felt that was with men and adults. And,
built your confidence.
Yeah, and that was challenging because Step 7, the commitment levels maybe aren't quite the same as where you're at now. So people, you turn up for a match and say, oh yeah, we're playing the same team as last week, and they say, no, well, he's not here, he's gone shopping, and he's away shopping. He's away with his missus, and so you think, oh, okay, well, we've got this kid, I don't know what he's like, so he's coming in, and so that was a challenge, what I mean? Put a team together out of nothing, and so I really enjoyed that as well, and I played Step 7 when I was a kid, and and I loved coaching there and managing there, and I did that, and then obviously Concord went through a couple of managers and a period of time, and Adam left, and a guy called Sammy Moore come in, and I was watching the games, and he asked me to come in and can I be a coach and help out, and I thought, oh, that'd be good because
who was this under Sammy Moore?
Yeah, under Sammy, yeah. So not till after Christmas it was, and I thought, oh yeah, I was a bit fourth part because he had Sammy and Jack Midson and Darren Beale, so I thought that'd be perfect for me to go back in, club I know, work under some, Sammy was a full-time player and Jack Midson was a full-time player, so see how they done stuff, learn stuff and learn what not to do as well, being honest. There was a lot of not to do, which I learned at that period of time at the football club, and I just felt it would be a good back in. It was a bit of a jump, obviously, because they were at Step 2 still at the time. So it was a bit of a jump to do that, but I thought it was the right thing to do. And obviously that season ended, and Sammy left, and his management team left, and I found myself in the same position I was when I first went in as manager, where the chairman was sort of looking at me across the table, going, "You want it or not?" Where the first time I was sort of humming and ahhing and didn't really. This time I went, "Yeah, no, I'm having it." I'm in, and then I went back in as the manager again, and I felt ready. I felt ready to do it. I felt like we had no players left. We had one boy on contract, and my assistant manager Lee Minchell, who was getting on a bit, and a young lad called Aaron Pollock, who a wonderful kid, and we had no team because everyone left.
So how did you go about recruitment then?
Yeah, well, I was fortunate. I got we had a guy that come in under Sammy called Adam Drew, and
Yeah,
you know, Adam, didn't you? And Adam specialises in recruitment, and I think he's very good at recruitment, and you see his success at Chelmsford, what they've done, and the players he got in. So we sat down. He stayed with us. He was tempted to go, but I talked him into staying and say, look, we could build something. And I probably made a few false promises to keep him, and thinking I'm going to have to back that up now. And he had good knowledge of step 4 and step 3, and we went out and we just built a team. It was like Football Manager, really, as a manager. It was probably a dream as a manager because we had a blank canvas.
Yeah.
It was a gamble because we didn't know. A lot of the boys we signed had never played Step 2 football.
Yeah.
So we went out and we looked at people that knew each other, so that had played together before at various clubs, maybe had a bit of a connection before.
You had the, if I remember rightly, you signed 2 of my good mates in Tossin and Mikey O'Donoghue, yeah?
Yeah. We looked at Step 3 and thought, who's the best fullbacks in the division, and they were both at Harringay at the time, and we went, right, you're due, and we managed to get them, and that led to
Noobs what signing that is as well.
Probably one of our best signings. It was amazing. You know, a real nice human being, but also what a player as well, and really pleasure to manage him and coach him, and obviously see him doing well now as well. And we managed to get them, so it was a bit of a connection with them. We knew they knew some others, and there was a bit of a Haybridge Swifts connection and a Malden connection with Jack Corley and Chris Hayes and Billy Roast and people like that.
You signed Kresh as well, didn't you?
Kresh, who'd probably upset a lot of people, but it was perfect for us.
Wait, upset a lot of people, why?
Yeah.
He's just a head loss, man.
Oh, right.
Kresh is head loss, man.
Okay.
He's still the same, though. He's still exactly the same.
Passion, pure passion.
Literally, yeah.
We used to... his first games, he used to cover so much distance. He'd be all over the park. He was a manager's dream, but he'd never be in the bit where you'd want him to be at the right time. He used to draw on the pitch, and the thing would say, right, you can't go out of this zone. On the heat map we had, if you go out of that zone, that's a fine, but you've got to stay in the frame of the goal. That's your job. And he did that, and he done very well for us. And we had that real good period, and it just felt right. We took the boys, and myself and Adam paid for it. We took the boys to Centre Parks, Five Lakes, pre-season. Nice. We had a night away at Five Lakes.
Out of your own pocket, you say?
Yeah, we trained on the pitches, on the nice pitches they got there. The boys had a game of golf. We had an evening meal and all that, all food provided, and it just clicked. You know when you've been in dressing rooms. I don't need to tell you, but when it clicks and there's a connection. Everybody, there was no egos because nobody had played the level. No one knew that everyone was challenging. So everyone was under the same pressure to play the Step 2 for the first time. I think that's right. I don't think there was a couple. Aaron Pollock maybe who'd stayed from the year before, but
Roasty as well, maybe.
Roasty might have had a go before.
Roasty was a lot.
And we just sold it to everyone. There's no pressure. It's just no one expects us to do well again. And let's go and enjoy it. And
that's how you lot played, though. If I'm being honest, because when I did play against you lot, I was just like, these are good. Honestly, like these are actually good. Yeah. And that's when we played against you at Tonbridge. Yeah, we thought you lot was right. And I know a lot of the lads as well. So for example, like Kresh and and they were like, we actually enjoy it. Like they really enjoyed it. And that's something that I have to say, even this season, which I saw, because there'll be times where I'm training and I sort of, you glance over because we're sharing half the pitch, and I glance over and everyone's just kind of like enjoying the training and it looks nice.
Oh, you're thinking, are we having that much fun?
Nah, I don't want to say that.
Are we having that much fun?
Nah,
this is a question.
It always looks like, you know.
I think you have to be like that, don't you? I think with your sessions, I think you have to make it fun and enjoyable. And
let's be honest.
Again, knowing where you are and the level you're at, and we're Step 2, which is a semi-professional level and a good level, and
very good.
We're playing against full-time teams and full-time players that are training 4 or 5 times a week, and that's really challenging. But we have to remember where we're coming from and what we're about. And
definitely,
I'm going to put something on, and you've had a bad day at the office or you've had a bad day at work, and that, and you come in and again, it's about understanding your players and reading the body language and judging the temperature of the room, as they say, and seeing what you think. No. Sometimes we go and plan something, and I come in and I around the dressing room, I shake the boys' hands, and I get the feeling that there ain't a buzz here, that these boys are struggling a bit, whether something's happened or mentally we've had a bad result, and it's just about me picking them up. Then I look back to my coaching when I coach the kids and go, well, this kid looked like end of term, these kids have had a real tough time at school, and they get last Friday of the term, and then they're in for a session, and they don't want you telling them how to play a shape or what to do. They want to have fun, don't they? And they want to enjoy themselves. So I flip back to them moments. No, we're going to have fun and we're going to enjoy ourselves. And you can still get things across. You can still get points across. And, and if they go out that room feeling, or out that training session feeling better about themselves, then chances are going to help them out. They're going to be better for us come the weekend. So.
But that's so interesting, because I don't think every manager thinks like that, and I don't think many managers think like that. Like, where, you know, like, let's judge the mood, like how training is. And
let's read the room.
I think some people just have their script of what they're going to do at training, and that's what they're doing. So it's interesting that you say that. And that's probably why you get good results, because they understand, like, they feel you, like, that makes sense.
Yeah, I've done it the other way, and you have to sometimes. You have to put a session on that might be quite boring, and I coach it and think, God, this is boring. Like, I wouldn't want to be doing this, and standing around, and you have to get across, but it's trying to balance it with the players, and sometimes you have to be. A good friend of mine is Neil Harris at Millwall now, and he said to me once, he said, just have the conversation with him, say, look, we're going to do this. This is going to help us on Saturday. It's going to be a bit slow, a bit boring, maybe. Put your hat on, put your gloves on, put your snood on, because you'll be standing around a bit. But once we get it done, then we're going to have, there's a bit of fun coming. There's a game, there's a five-a-side, there's a small-sided game, there's cross and finishing competition, there's bits that they want to hear. And so you get the buy-in in that, and you just always think it's managing the time, isn't it? If you do an hour and a half of shape work or defending for a centre half,
you need to put something in there that they're going to enjoy.
Defending as a player, but don't give me an hour and a half in training because I want to do it on a Saturday. So just balance it out and just.
Well, I was going to say as well, I think we've kind of glossed over. We haven't had a chance to talk about it, but back-to-back promotions. That's massive. Yeah. That's like massive. So like, I know you come in when they were in the Ryman North. Yeah. So Isthmian North.
November.
Yeah. So where was they in that? Where was you in that position? Was you?
Yeah, they were. Aveley was 7th at the time, I think, when I come in. They made a decision to, how football works. They'd made a decision that they wanted to make a change, and they'd reached out to me to see if I was interested. I'd left Concord in the summer and had a couple of other offers and a couple of jobs that people I hadn't got, I'd gone for and hadn't got. So there was an element of disappointment in that. And Aveley reached out to say, would you be interested? We're going to make a change. And I said, look, if you are making a change, then I'm happy to have that conversation. Look, don't just talk to me if you're not making that change. And they come back and said, no, we're doing it. It's going to be done now, sort of thing. Do you want to have that chat? So I went in and we had a conversation, and I was hungry again. I'd missed it. You don't really reflect until you are out of it at times. I think you do that as a player. And first time I'd had a lot of reflection. And when I left Concord, it was 2 seasons. It was COVID times at Concord for them 2 seasons I did. So we didn't actually finish the season.
Yeah, I remember
the
them
FA
times.
Trophy run and the final. And it was really hard to be a manager in that period. And anybody that went through that would say the same. And it was stop, start, we're playing, we're not playing, no fans there, can you train, can you not train? So that was a real tough period. So the little break I had when I left Concord before going back to Aveley was good to reflect again, and felt I was ready again for the next step. And Aveley made the decision, and I said, yeah, well, I'll do it, I'll go for it. And I watched a few of their games. I identified quite quickly what was wrong.
Okay.
They had a real good group of players, real technical good players. They were very good footballers and probably above the level, some of them as well. Could have gone higher straight away, but they just had no real shape or structure to what they do. And then they had to look at the results. I think they had I watched one game, they played Basildon, it was like 4-3, and another game was 5-2. And
so they're scoring the goals, but they're just conceding.
For me, as a defensive-minded coach, or I pride myself on my teams being good against the ball. I thought, well, they've got all the tools that to be good with the ball. They just need some support without the ball. And I looked at it, and we put that in place, and very quickly. And the boys bought into it. They trusted us. We showed them that we cared about them, because when you've been in dressing rooms, we get new managers in, and fear comes into players, doesn't it? They worry that they're going to
get the change, isn't it?
Yeah, they might lose their position, lose their money. You know, so how it is. Issues, and someone else is coming in, and we sat in the meeting room, the first meeting we had with a group of players. I'd already spoke to everyone on the phone individually, and there was a bit of a frosted atmosphere with some I'd released before that I had to sort of build bridges with, and always do things the right way, so that them bridges are easier to build maybe, and admit when you're wrong. And I sat down with them, and I could see there was a fear. There was a bit. They were together, and we were. Like
it was like
us.
you. It was like you against them.
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And they were looking at us, going, "No, we like the other manager."
Yeah.
I know why they like the other manager, because he let them just go and play and free spirit, and play. But it wasn't probably going to win them a league, if I'm honest. And I just said to him, "I'm here to help you. I'm not here to change you. We'll have to bring people in because we didn't have a big squad, but I'm going to bring people in that are going to help you, and I'm with you. I want to be one of you rather than be. It's not about me. It's about Aveley Football Club." And we sat there. I think we were quite a few points behind Canvey Island, and I remember standing in front of the group saying, "Look, I promise you two things: you'll enjoy it, and we'll catch Canvey Island and win the league." And I said them words to the players, and they walked out, and don't think they really bought into it. And my assistant Lee Mitchell went to me, went, "You've just made a real big promise there. I hope we can back that up." And I said, yes, we will.
Did you believe it deep down?
I did, yeah. I'd seen enough in the squad, and I knew the division, I knew the other teams, and I knew if I added in the right areas, and we added a boy called John Benton who was magnificent for us.
Okay,
So he'd been at Southend. I tried to get him in at Concord at step 2, and he'd have done well there. And I managed to get him in, and he come in, and I think he went and got 20 odd goals for us and 18 assists, and he just added that bit on.
Wow.
We spoke to the defenders about being a bit more assured defensively, and we had Ryan Scott, who's
he's at Hornchurch.
won the league again, and he was there, and Harry Gibbs, and we just organised a little bit in terms of our shape, and we went on a 18-game undefeated run, and flying. I think the only team we lost to was Hashtag right near the end of the season, and managed to win the league with a game to spare. We won, beat Tilbury at home 4-0, and won us the league with a game to spare. So it was,
and that was last season, was it?
That was the season before last.
Season before last. Yeah, that was step 4.
So then when they went up to step 3, that's their last promotion. So they've gone from step 3 to step 2 now.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, so they done back to back.
Yeah, literally
which is
back to back.
Amazing. Like that, not everyone does that.
No. I'm probably guilty of not really enjoying it, if I'm honest, in terms of the success. Like,
you haven't had time to kind of reflect on it, and
I got we got Concord Rangers in terms of us, the football club, the people who put the money in the football club, the supporters, the coaches, the players. We got Concord Rangers to Wembley in the FA Trophy.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Concord Rangers had amazing success, but bottom line, it was a social club back in the day. It was a small club on Canvey Island, and probably the second club on Canvey Island for quite a long period of time. And we managed to get them to Wembley, and we went there. We had our day at Wembley. We unfortunately lost that game, and I think I was home in the evening having a cup of tea and a slice of toast in the evening,
not actually
thinking about the next job. Or I didn't enjoy the day. I enjoyed the day when I look back now, but I was so serious. I didn't take my phone. I didn't take pictures. I didn't do a video, and I was so desperate.
It's those things, isn't it? Yeah.
And I did that when I went into Aveley the first time, and we got promoted, and straight away. I'm thinking, I want to win.
Time.
Okay, yeah. So we need to wrap up because things are So we've got so carried away with it, but we need to wrap up. So usually the way we end this is so our last guest has dropped a gem. We call it dropping a gem. Yeah. So they've left like a pearl of wisdom for everybody, and then you're gonna react to that, and then you're gonna drop a gem for the next guest, and then they can react to that. Have I remembered what the last one is?
This is the question I need to know. This is why I'm looking at you.
No, I don't think I have. Hold on, let me think. Have you remembered it?
Don't do this.
I just want to know, have you remembered it?
I haven't remembered it.
Oh, you're great memory. All right, so I think the last guest said something along the lines of the game changing, and the game will change based on the new information that's out there. So you can touch upon it. Wasn't it that?
I don't think.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay.
And you could touch upon your thoughts on that and how you agree, disagree, or whatnot, and then you can drop your gem, and it doesn't have to be related at all. It can be something completely different. So how do you react to the game changing? You as a manager might. Yeah.
I think the game has changed, isn't it? I think the way we talk about the game has probably changed in terms of the wording and stuff. Has it changed? Probably not. Deep down, it's still the same, and it's still same pitch size, 2 goals and a ball, and teams, and you defend, you attack, and transition, and different things, and they're just called different words and different terminology now. And I do think we overcomplicate it at times, and we need to probably be careful with overcomplicating it to players, especially at non-league football, and keep simple messages. I think it's important, isn't it? And I think be yourself. I think that's the most important thing, and there's a lot of information out there and a lot of information you can find on football now of how to be a manager, how to be a coach, how to be a player, but I think you have to be yourself. Keep it realistic.
I like that.
And, keep
Be yourself.
Keep it,
I love that.
Be what you are at the end of the day, and do what you can, and look for your USP, what you do well, and
like
build on
your
that.
strengths, isn't it? Yeah,
I
definitely.
think so. And
Definitely.
as a manager and a player, be yourself. And sometimes if people see you being yourself, then you know what you're working with. There's honesty and that, and I think you can work with that, isn't there? So,
Amazing.
I love that.
Yeah,
Great. Be yourself. I'm gonna remember that one, guys.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna remember that one.
not.
Be yourself. Listen, it has been a pleasure.
Thank you, Scopesy, man.
Danny Scopes.
pleasure.
Yep.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you very
We're
much.
doing it. One league.
One league.
League.
Yes.
Yes, Scopesy. Yeah. All right, amazing. Thank you.